Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Unity of West Lynn. I'm Jan Carruthers, and I am your service leader today and often. It's truly my pleasure to welcome you, each and every one, today and always. And in Unity, as you know, we believe that each of us dwells in spirit. Each of us dwells in spirit. And each of us is here by divine appointment. The Unity Center is a ministry where people of all ages, backgrounds, and beliefs celebrate the one common spiritual thread that lives in every heart. And if you are coming to see us for the first time or getting new or discovering us on YouTube, know that we are here every Sunday at 10:30 online, and we are also on YouTube from now until all time. Our website is www.worldhealing.org, worldhealing.org. So I am so excited about our guest speaker today, who is not only a member of our congregation, but also a wonderful friend and long-time Unity student, teacher. She's a poet. She's a Reiki master. She is a photographer and an all-around creative contributor to our congregation. It's Billie Shults, and Billie's going to open us with centering prayer. Unmute.
Thank you very much, Jan, for this opportunity. So take a moment to center yourself this morning and pay attention to your body and your breath. As we come together in unity, in peace, in love with each other and with ourselves. And breathe in that peace, love, and unity, and know that that peace of God is always with you, in you and around you. And we say thank you, thank you, thank you for this time to be together and to be with like-minded people as we begin our Sunday celebration in gratitude and love. Amen and Amen.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Our spiritual reading for this moment is from Pema Chodron, and this is from her book, When Things Fall Apart, which somehow seems kind of appropriate for, for this time. Life is a good teacher and a good friend. Things are always in transition if we could only realize it. Nothing ever sums itself up in the way that we like to dream about. The off-center, in-between state is an ideal situation, a situation in which we don't get caught and in which we can open our hearts and our minds beyond limit. We have an annual theme for Unity, and the theme this year is how to stay centered no matter what. And we have two affirmations to read together. And so Sharon's going to bring up the first one. The first affirmation, remember that the month of May, the sub-theme is power. So let's say together, the presence and power of spirit now manifest in me and through me. I use my inner power for good in our world. And the second, the power of my thoughts and words moves me ever closer to the truth of my being. And that is really the truth. We have a first piece of music to take us into this centering place that Billie brought us to.
After all these years, I'm starting to see we're all threads in a tapestry, woven together, your life and mine, till our hearts and bones are intertwined. The road of life may lead us far from where we all begin, but sooner or later the hands of time weave us back in to the grand design. Out on life's highway we feel alone, as every bend leads us further from home. Our path divides, we take our chances and pray our loved ones will understand us. Which way to go we don't always know, so we navigate by heart. But in time we come to learn that every road is part of the grand design. It's something I believe, and now I find it comforts me. I've come to love the mystery. The grand design is with us all along. A last goodbye, a newborn song, and in the end we all belong to the grand design. If we could rise up high, see the whole road, how far we've come and where we'll go, see how our pathway crosses the others, we know how much we need each other. In this living tapestry, each thread is someone's road, and one day from a higher place we may know the grand design. It's something I believe, and now I find it comforts me. I've come to love the mystery. The grand design is with us all along. Last goodbye, a newborn song, and in the end we all belong to the grand design.
That was very nice, and a good reminder that we are a part of the bigger picture of everything. So, what a nice herd you are. Are you in the mood for a little fun? I'd like to thank the members of Unity for giving me this opportunity to pasteurize. Little did they know what they were in for. And I came dressed for the part. I have a cow vest on. And you can thank my children for a lot of the inspiration for this material, Lessons from Cows, as you will hear about it today. In order to get a clearer meaning of the term pasteurize, I went to the dictionary and looked up the word. Pasteurization is a process that renders milk free from disease-producing bacteria, and it helps prevent spoiling without destroying vitamins or changing the taste. It destroys things that are harmful and retains all of the good. Pasteurize. How does this relate to us? As humans, we are at times less than perfect. By eliminating things that taint us, accenting the positive, and retaining our true spirit, we too can become pasteurized. Cows are spiritual. We've all heard the term holy cow. Well, there really is something to this. The Hindus revere the cow as sacred because of all that cows have to offer. According to their mythological accounts, the cow is the mother of gods and is declared by Brahma to be a proper object of worship. I found many interesting facts about cows and the beliefs in India. They are sacred and they are never eaten. It is prohibited for them to be slaughtered. They utilize them in many ways: milk and butter, plowing their fields so that they can produce grain. They pull heavy loads. They produce fuel and fertilizer. At the time that I wrote this, at least 90% of the power in India was produced by what they call bullock power, and only 10% fossil fuels or electricity. They use it for warmth and cooling of their homes, and it even acts as a mosquito repellent. No wonder they call them sacred cows and protect and care for them. So I have some examples of cows today, and if we can look at slide number 1, we can demonstrate how cows can assist us in our spiritual endeavors. Now, this beauty is a replica of one of the cows on parade. There were whole exhibitions of these beauties in many cities across America and internationally. In 2002, Portland was host to Cows for Kids. This one is the Infinity Cow with stars and planets and even the moon. It happens to be purple, which is a very spiritual color. And looking at this cow, we can be reminded of the beauty of nature that God has to offer. God's beauty is all around us. It is in the eyes of the people around us. It is in the sights and the smells of the flowers in the yard, in your neighborhoods, in the ever-changing scenery of the sky. Use your imagination when looking at the clouds at sunset or a star-filled sky at night, and tell me if any artist could create anything more beautiful. Beauty is everywhere you are, and all you have to do is open your eyes and appreciate the beauty that is around us, that is part of God's nature. Now, this cow that I have here is what, I'm not ready for that one yet. This cow here is what I affectionately call my pooping cow. Now, pooping represents elimination. In order to have a more serene and peaceful life, there are sometimes things that we have to eliminate. In our human experience, these might be things like a bad relationship, bad habits, a lousy job, or material items that serve only to take up space and bring no benefit or joy to our lives. Is there anyone in this room who's never had a bad relationship? It may be painful to give it up, but by getting rid of it, you open up space to have something more fulfilling. One of the relationships I had to give up in my life was with my youngest son. He had crossed the boundaries of a respectful relationship, and I lost 3 years of that relationship. 3 years that I can never get back. By letting go and eliminating that source of distress in my life, it allowed him to grow into the wonderful young man he is today. He has taken himself so far, he has saved lives, and he's the father of my grandchild. I am so proud to have him back in my life today. And I believe that our relationship would not be as good as it is if I had held on to what it was. It was unhealthy and unloving, and today it's absolutely marvelous. So I urge you to take a few moments to think about what brings you irritation in your life. Many of the things that we complain about are of our own doing. Think about it. It may be hard to admit, but you may find some truth in this, that many of the things that we complain about are of our own doing. And this practice of elimination, I love my little cow, the practice of elimination will leave room for those things that you truly want in your life. As humans, we say we want things, but we're unwilling to get rid of what's holding us back. If we can make space, then we are able to accept our good. Now, our next slide is what I call a Holstein rabbit. And I used to have a little stuffed animal, and I let go of that. And so the question is, things are not always what they seem. So is it a cow in rabbit's clothing or a rabbit in cow's clothing? Have you ever made a quick decision about a person or situation, and then after a period of time found out that you were wrong about it? Have you met a person that you were willing to write off and found out that they truly were a gift in your life? At one of the jobs I had, we had the most wonderful service people, some of whom I initially had a less than positive impression of. As I worked with them, I found that they were very dedicated to their jobs and to serving their customers well. The UPS lady was an example, and her reputation was that she was not the most friendly person to work with. We had a situation where she was complaining about a large number of our shipments. I was called up front to explain why it truly was documents, but it was a stack of them, so it appeared to be a package. So we had a discussion about it. She understood that it was documents and we were shipping them appropriately. So we had that understanding, and then we both appreciated the effort that it took to meet both of our needs in the best way possible, even if it meant taking a bit of extra effort. Another example was a friend of my youngest son. He was a freak. He still looks like a freak, but he's okay with that, and he's my buddy now. He wouldn't follow the rules of my house. I even called the police on him for not staying away. My son knew the rules, yet he would feed him or invite him in for a shower. It was not my responsibility to take care of this homeless kid, and I knew it wouldn't teach him anything anyway. Besides, he wouldn't follow my rules, so I had no inclination to help him out. After my son and I had reconciled, we were visiting at a mutual friend's house, and this friend happened to be there. We were reminiscing about the old days and telling stories, and we talked about some of the things that had happened. I told him what a freak I thought he was, and he apologized to me. He apologized not once, but 3 times. It took 3 times before I finally heard it. He admitted that he was stupid and immature, and he really was sorry. I got up and I hugged him, and now he's my buddy. So if I ever need a scary friend, I know who to call, and he will be there for me. Each of us in this room has had an experience or situations that initially we had labeled as bad or uncomfortable or unbearable. And after we got through it, if we are good truth students, we are able to appreciate that we were able to learn something that we can take with us from that point forward. Something that, had we not had that bad experience, we would not have learned a valuable lesson. We really would have missed an opportunity to become more of who we truly are. Now, not to be utterly disgusting here, but no conversation would be complete without talking about cow chips. In days gone by, cows wore bells around their neck. This was so farmers could find their cows in the field. Today, technology has replaced that cowbell with something more modern, and that would be a cow chip. Well, these are actually cookies, but I thought I'd bring them along anyway. Now, we're not talking about droppings from the pooping cow. This cow chip is a microchip. It helps the farmer locate the cow. It monitors several key factors about the cow. It identifies it and monitors its food consumption, milk production, and it retains its medical history. By monitoring milk production in particular and paying attention to decreased milk production, a transponder can dispense feed customized to that particular cow and take care of its needs. So, if I'm not a cow, how does that relate to me? Well, if I monitor myself and notice when things are out of whack, then I can consciously make decisions to correct it. Milk production might represent a lack of energy, a change in sleeping habits, or, God forbid, losing your sense of humor. Whatever it means to you, if we pay close attention to our bodies, we probably all have one or two key signals that forewarn us that something is about to become out of balance. Wouldn't it be nice if we all had a cow chip to tell us we were stressed out or needing better nutrition so we could maintain a more balanced and satisfying life? But we are humans and we don't have that cow chip to tell us that we are out of balance. So sometimes in our human ways, we keep on going until something breaks or we get sick. Then we run to the doctor so he can wave his magic prescription at us. Then we cover up the symptoms and go on with our merry or not so merry lives. Maybe as enlightened beings, that's why we gather on Sundays, so we can recharge our spirit beings and accent the positive areas of our lives. The more we pay attention to the positives, the less we can be bothered by the not so positive. I heard it put this way one time. I'm sure it was in church. Wherever our attention lies is our intention. Wherever our attention lies is our intention. That's the law of attraction, which has been repeated with many words over the years. And so this is what it was before it was popular like it is today. So I encourage you to really, really think about that and make it work to your advantage. Catch yourself thinking. Stop the negative thoughts. Replace them with positive affirmations of what you want. Put positive reminders in front of you, like sticky notes, to keep your focus where it should be. Pay attention to your cow chips, watch your step, and you can avoid a cowtastrophe. Now, the next slide that's coming up is a picture of a flying cow. Now, I had gotten this cow very similar to this when my oldest son, it was a homecoming present. He had been in Minnesota and he was gone for 6 months. It was Christmas time. He was coming home. I met him at the airport. I put a big red bow on him. He was slightly embarrassed and grumbled. If I wasn't his mother, he wouldn't let me do that to him. But I was excited, and he was my Christmas present, and so he let me do it. He was even more embarrassed when I asked a complete stranger to take a picture of us at the airport. When we arrived home, there was a welcome banner in the window. The living room was decorated with black and white crepe paper and the flying cow. What a good homecoming and a good conversation piece. The flying cow can represent our spirit, a spirit of joy and happiness, a spirit that doesn't have to have a reason for being, just the joy of knowing that you are a piece of the infinite holy cow spirit of God. I love it when I feel this spirit. Sometimes I can just feel it well up inside of me for no reason. What a wonderful feeling to be happy just because you are happy. And you know what? I think it can be contagious. So that was not the only flying cow that was in my family. The year that he graduated from college, my son received several gifts and some money. I even wrote him a check for $1 million because he is worth it. He liked his presents and all, but when he opened the last present, it was a cow kite. Now you could see some real excitement. It was another flying cow. It was in segments. It was probably 5 or 6 feet long. I never got to see it fly myself, but I understand that he got lots of attention with his flying cow. Wouldn't it be wonderful to always have that spirit of the flying cow with us? We can practice and appreciate this feeling, and the more we acknowledge it, the more we experience it for as long as we want. We can fly as high as we want for as long as we want because we decide to. Remember, we have a lot of power over how we feel because of that decision to feel that way. So catch the spirit and be a flying cow. Now there's a little surprise slide here. And that is my cow daddy. And that is Beefsteak that he happens to be with. And I had to include it just because it's such a wonderful picture. He's cow daddy to, I believe, 10 adults and 3 children. And a fun little fact is our first date, he called and invited me to go to the state fair because he wanted to look at cows. And little did he know what he was in for and that I truly love cows. So I had to make sure that was included. Thank you. Now I hope that I have planted at least one seed. I need to make sure I can be seen. At least one seed that you can grow. It might be a fuller appreciation for beauty, or the willingness to take a second look at a person or a situation and find the good in it. It may be finding that spirit of joy that will keep you flying high in good times and in bad times, knowing that you are a holy cow. Knowing that you are a cherished child of God with a special gift to offer. So let's take our lessons from cows and plant seeds to enhance our lives and stay grounded and in a good mood. So this does come with instructions to start your own herd. You must plant the seeds in a warm spot, right side up. Cows will grow upside down if they're planted wrong. You have to be patient. It takes a long time to start your own herd, and for best results, move softly while watering. So I appreciate you joining us today, and go forth and pasteurize. Namaste.
Thank you, Billie. That was absolutely delightful and moving. And hearing you is just an inspiration as well. So thank you so much. This is the time in our service, and every week we remind ourselves of our abundance and why we give. And this is an opportunity to know how we are giving into the universe, giving into your spiritual community. We give thanks for messages that inspire us, like this one, and sustain us, and for a community in which we are loved and which we appreciate each other. And the unity principles and the universal truth. And we are gifted. And as we are gifted, so we give. We give. We have an intention to celebrate this 31st year of our community life. And we remember that the completion of this time together over these months is because we have been this and continue to be this. So let's say together, spirit led, we are co-creating a vibrant, inclusive ministry, welcoming and supporting everyone on their spiritual journey, which we do and we will continue to do individually and as an ongoing, loving group of friends. So it's easy to give, and just go to the website, press the donate button. You can also go to PayPal. You can also send a check. You can even call and tell Sharon to take a contribution by debit or credit card. So all of those things are important. Let us say together our blessing as we hold it in our hearts and minds. God's love in me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive. So we have a few announcements. For those of you who do not know this, let me reiterate an announcement from last week. Your board and your community, the congregation, has voted to complete or close the Unity Center of West Lynn. Probably our last service will be at the end of June, and we'll continue with operations in order to do all the work that's needed, probably through mid-July or the end of July. So consequently, we have created a task force of active members in which we're going to plan. The basic skeleton is already there, but plan all of the things we want, the celebrations that we intend, the legal work we need to do, all of that stuff. So you may already know you're a member of the task force. You may want to be a contributor to that. And we have, it's very hard to get a number of people together at the right times. But just to let you know, we are guided to be having task force meetings on a regular basis so we can get assignments, go off, do them, report back. But we want to do that when Sharon is working, our administrator. So we have we have selected, and unless there's a change, we can check after the service, 11 o'clock on Wednesday. This coming Wednesday as just a planning meeting. We'll find the ideal time with everybody, but 11 o'clock on Zoom, you'll get a link to join us. No more than 90 minutes, probably an hour and so that's that. Please join us. Even if you're not in the long haul, please join us and feel free to. So secondly, we have some very sad news to report, and most of you know this because we were able to make phone calls yesterday, but most of you know and are good friends with and are dear friends with are one of our board members, a service assistant who has been on this grand digital experience with us all year. Joanne Carruthers has left this plane and is on to the rest of her eternal life. So we are very, very sorry that she has passed away. Happily, it's been a short period of time and she's lived long enough for all of her children and Jerry to be with her, to come from all different parts of the country. So just a few words, because obviously we will be honoring her and having some kind of celebration, but this is close timing. But just for all of you to remember that when Reverend Victoria retired, we formed a leadership group, and one of Joanne's projects was to form the Women's Circle. So we have this wonderful Women's Circle is her work, and the gardens have been under her leadership. And she joined the board this last year when Jerry got off the board. So we know that her loving spirit caused her to create a career in nursing. She's been a tower of strength as they've moved across the country following his career in educational leadership. Most of all, she is a sweetheart with a great, soft Southern voice, a deep, mature spirit, and who was, best of all, an ongoing, continuous student of spirit. And she's, I read Pema this earlier part because Joanne had discovered Pema Chodron and often quoted her during our services. And the great thing is, one of the small gifts of this digital experience that we've been having is that there's a lot of wonderful footage of Joanne on YouTube. So feel free to go there. In this time of loss, it is really important for us to remember that life is eternal and she will be with us in the light. And we also know the same for our dear Marilee Payne, whose loving daughter, who we got to know secondhand in a way, Wendy Dean, also made her transition a mere 10 or 12 days ago. So there's so much sadness and also so much love. Our blessings to Marilee and to Jerry Carruthers and for all their family members. And may we know that these two loving spirits, these loving souls, rest deep in spirit in the sweet knowledge that their loved ones will always be with them in their hearts and in the greater consciousness. And so it is. As we come to the point later, the last part of our service, I just want to remind you that we have terrific speakers coming up. Reverend Jody Stevenson from Colorado will be with us live on Zoom next week. She's played a very important role with us. Her topic is love. It's simply irrelevant. Doesn't that sound intriguing? And so please be here to hear Reverend Jody. And then we're very excited on May 30th, Memorial Day weekend, to have our licensed teacher, Sandra Combs, be with us. And she's a wonderful speaker. So we're looking forward to that. And then all through June, we've got great speakers. So please, I want to invite you to stay after church. We have coffee hour without coffee, and it's really not an hour, but we want to be together. So please, and especially if you're new, and we know we have friends from all over online today, so please be with us. So if you in this week desire healing and spiritual support for the challenges that we are facing, the challenges you may have in your own life, or you simply want someone to pray with, please remember Silent Unity, Sandra Combs, Reverend Victoria, any minister that you know is totally, oh, by the way, and Reverend Cheryl from Yakima. But calling Silent Unity or writing to Silent Unity, they have been in business 125 years. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They have sent out countless millions of letters, millions of people and souls. They are there for you. Take advantage of them. And as we begin those closing activities, do remember all the creative messages that Billie gave us. Remember your own power to choose your perceptions and your interpretations and your thoughts and beliefs. And most of all, lean on that heart. because it determines how we respond to life and what happens in it. So we have a unity video that I think is perfect for these challenging, crazed times that we seem to be living in. So it's about 5 minutes. Sit back, relax, enjoy the pictures, enjoy the words, and let that carry us into this week. So Sharon, thank you.
I invite you to take the next few moments to relax into an experience of your oneness with God. You may want to close your eyes so that you can more easily focus your attention on this time of prayer. Your inner peace comes from your willingness to let go and let God be God in your life. Trusting in the divine order of the universe to bring us peace in mind, heart, and spirit, let us now affirm, I open my mind to the conscious presence of God, and I am filled with peace. As you hear these words again, feel yourself being filled with the peace of spirit. I open my mind to the conscious presence of God, and I am filled with peace. Now please join me in speaking these words together. I open my mind to the conscious presence of God, and I am filled with peace. From the realization of God's presence in every life experience, we invite the activity of spirit to be a conscious part of every word, thought, and action. We acknowledge that through the wisdom of spirit, we are guided to right and perfect decisions every time. And now, let us affirm, I am at peace in mind and heart. I invite the Spirit within to guide me in every word and action. Let's affirm that again silently, and then aloud together. Together, I am at peace in mind and heart. I invite the Spirit within to guide me in every word and action. As we pray for peace for our world, let us acknowledge and honor all people, every race, every creed, every religion, and affirm peace among all nations. We affirm our world is peace-filled as we acknowledge our oneness with God and with one another. We see this prayer going out to bless every person and every nation, and opening the way for a peaceful resolution to all conflict. Once again, let us affirm, our world is peace-filled as we acknowledge our oneness with God and with one another. And so it is. Now, as we bring this meditation to a close, We acknowledge and affirm God as our help in every need. We hold forth a vision of God's love as the fountain from which peace flows to bless our world and us. With faith, let us release any doubts and any feelings of judgment or concern. Thoughts of harmony fill our awareness. We are at peace with ourselves, with all people, with all life. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with the peace and understanding in my heart. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with the peace and understanding in my heart. And so it is. Amen.
And so we come to our candles, the light of our lives, and we blow out our candles symbolically. Let's say, I forgot that was there. Let's say these to ourselves. Let's say, the silence is my place of peace and renewal. I'm a radiating center of light and understanding. I'm an expression of infinite life. I live in a world of plenty, and I have a consciousness of abundance. I hold the world in a vision of harmony and peace. And now we know about our candles. And as we imagine them, we blow them out, but they never really go out. We know the light never goes out because we are the light, and we live as the light as well. Together we say the prayer of transformation. Transformation is such an important word. It reminds us that it's not a process of change, it's a process of complete recreation. The light of God is in us. The love of God moves through us. The power of God transforms us. The presence of God is who we are. Wherever we go, God is, and all is well. So we just want to remember that power, that presence, that light that carries us through. And we will be welcome to see you the next week. And if you would like to stay after, we would love to have you stay after. And so with that, I'm going to say